the most important thing humanity's gone through.
As Raoul said, like we're all beginners in this new world. No one has a complete understanding of this new world and this wave of change that is about to smash into us.
For me, and I think for David's point, these are temporary states of affairs. The forward-looking basis, I find it very interesting when you get given what I think are gifts of entry points.
In this interview with Real Vision CEO, Raoul Pal, and David Matten, founder of New World, same humans. They both share technical insights based on their respective specialties on the current state of the tech world and the world at large. They both agree that the world is moving at breakneck speed towards a new era. Raoul starts by talking about how crypto, the new world, is currently interacting with tradfi, the old world, and why no matter what the market currently seems like, you need to get in. They talk about the technologies shaping our world and how they're inevitable. AI and the metaverse are coming, and there's no amount of FUD that'll stop it. They also talk about the interdependencies of these technologies and their potential relationships with blockchains. Raoul's core message from this interview is simple. The current state of the market is a gift. You might never get a better chance to get in than this. Let's dive right in.
How people should use it in their mental model is if the digital nation state of crypto, new world, and tradfi, old world, what the ETF is nothing more than a trade agreement between these two countries. And the trade agreement, once it's put in place, doesn't necessarily mean the money comes in. It's the tradfi guys need to look at crypto, go, there's higher rates of return. And right now that's proving itself. So the probability over time of foreign direct investment, FDI, coming from tradfi world into new world is very high. And then they will add a second trade agreement, which will be the ETH spot ETF. So if you think of these as trade agreements between these digital worlds, it gets very interesting.
Don't fall into the narrative trap of social media and investment bank bearishness. We're likely to see a strong push by year end for risk taking. It doesn't feel like that. What do you mean?
Look, every bull market, you need to have various 5 and 10% corrections. They're healthy. What needs to happen? The NASDAQ had its best start to a year almost in history. It's still up 30% after a 10% pullback. Normally these things are very healthy to see. What we are seeing, and I can see it confusing a lot of people, is this bifurcation where the old economy, stuff like the Russell 2000 is hitting new lows because the Russell 2000 is pricing in today's economic conditions, which are pretty soggy. They're not great, right? Are we in recession? Are we not in recession? But we're there and thereabouts. NASDAQ discounted that all last year. And so NASDAQ has been on a tear, much like crypto has, because they're forward-looking assets based around a secular bull market trend. So for me, I look at the technicals, and I think there's a decent chance we put the low in equities, particularly the NASDAQ, S&P, others, today. Different tech companies are driven by different things. So if you look at Microsoft, it's very B2B. And if you look at Meta, it's B2C. It's advertising. Advertising revenues are pretty shitty right now. So you can understand why some of those companies. So if you think of the short-term drivers of their revenues, not their tech stack and where they're going, but just what moves their P&L up and down on a quarter-by-quarter basis, Microsoft is seeing the entire world rolling out bloody cloud compute plus AI, so they're riding that wave. Meta's seeing, oh my God, brands are cutting back expenditure. You know, how is the Israeli-Palestinian war going to affect advertisers? People have already said that's happening. Tesla, I mean, Elon came out very clearly and said, with rates this high, people can't buy cars. And that's very typical. We've seen that across pretty much all consumer SaaS businesses or consumer businesses overall, is people just don't have any pocket spending money. But that's, for me, and I think for David's point, these are temporary states of affairs. You know, it's the forward-looking basis. I find it very interesting when you get given what I think are gifts of entry points, like they are today, when you've had a correction and everybody's over their ski tips in bearishness. That gets very interesting to me, is what I can buy into a long-term secular trend that people have now discounted. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Liquidity. Even though it feels like liquidity is coming out of the market, if I look at the Fed net liquidity, it's actually been rising slightly. So we're not seeing a liquidity draw from markets. We're seeing China stimulating. So that's global liquidity coming. I think any day now, the Japanese will come in and intervene in the currency market and or the bond market. That'll be stimulus. The Europeans were out today or yesterday saying they're done with rate rises most likely. Okay, so that changes the liquidity environment. It doesn't yet make it positive, but it makes it less negative. The US looks like it's done as well. We've seen several of the Fed members saying we're done, let's wait and see.
So far, Raoul has spoken extensively on the significance of crypto and the state of the market. Next, he and David move on to how other technologies will shape the world and how blockchains will interact with them and already existing technologies. But more importantly, he speaks about the time frame of these technologies colliding with our current world.
Fundamental things to say around time frame are, look, we talk about the exponential age for a reason. You know, these are exponential trends, and that means that just inherently we know that we're not equipped to be good understanding that pace of change. It happens far quicker than we can comprehend. It seems to be not happening, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's happened, and I'm too late. Do you know what I mean? That's what exponential change feels like to human beings. So, number one, assume that it's happening far faster than you can understand. You can't comprehend really the nature of the pace of change we're talking about, and you're also not smart enough, none of us are smart enough, to kind of know on a granular level, okay, like, you know, so when will robots be in my house emptying the dishwasher? Like, you don't know. None of us are smart enough to have a concrete and then plan accordingly. You can't try to time these discrete technology megatrends perfectly, understand exponential change and how it feels to human beings. Look at what we've just gone through with AI, where essentially you had decades of sort of kind of just a slight sort of freeze and conversation and winter and nothing's really happening, and then it's just smashed into us in the last 2 years. We're going to go through a lot of technology megatrends that will feel like that, and what will compound it all is that it's all happening at once.
In this video, we've gone over the mental model of thinking of crypto as a nation state, as opposed to just a technology. Raoul explained that in the upcoming months, the crypto nation state could be the same size as the second largest country globally. He also emphasized on how we shouldn't be deceived into thinking this is a bad time to invest. He strongly believes this is a gift for anyone with money left. He moves on to discussing other technologies and how they'll affect us. He and David wrap up by talking about how new technologies are moving so fast and becoming so advanced that no one can predict when they'll get here and exactly how powerful they'll be. A fear that seems increasingly rational, with some discussion about the possibility of Sam Altman, former CEO of OpenAI, getting sacked because there was some dispute about how the AI will be used, as it was nearing a humanity-threatening level of sentience. What do you think about AI and this upcoming bull market? To see the latest in crypto news, watch this video here.